right, folks, we're going to get the party started right there. How are y'all doing today? Hello, hello, hello. It's been a minute, but great evening. Great evening. Happy Sunday and welcome to my school leaders to your new school year. Happy new school year. We are so excited to have you guys this afternoon. It is indeed a pleasure just to have the opportunity, y'all, to spend just a few minutes with you today. We hope that since the last time we've been together, all has been going well in your world. As a matter of fact, drop in the chat for me a hello. What's something you've done this summer? What is something that you have jumped into that maybe has been a little different for you? Also, if you're drinking something, what's in your cup? I will share with you that I have had the most amazing weekend. Okay, it's Essence Fest weekend. All things great going on in New Orleans. And y'all, look, I ate great food, had a great time, and y'all know I love earrings. Aren't those gorgeous? My essence fine, right? So we hope that all is well in your world. But what's in your cup, right? What's in your cup and what's been a win for you this summer? Think about the month of June. What's been a win for you this summer, y'all? We're so excited to be back live with you guys. Hello, hello, hello. You guys know we're ready to make some boss moves. And if you didn't know, let me tell you what boss move stands for. It stands for us being bold. Bold is not about you being loud. It's about you being authentic. If you are going to have an amazing school year as a leader, you've got to show up the realest version of yourself. Being bold also speaks to you advocating for others, right? We've got to. That was my 4th of July post, right? Sometimes you need to be the firework, okay? Sometimes you need to be the firework for yourself and for others, right? That's that advocacy piece. Bold, that's to be optimistic, y'all. The world has enough. We have enough negativity to spread around and around and around. What we need more of is positive, intentional behaviors being pressed out into our schools, into our world. So we're going to be a part of the solution, right? We are going to be a part of the solution. Please do not confuse optimism with a toxic, right? That toxic positivity. That's not what that is. We are truly real, but we're positive with the real, right? Spontaneous. We've got to switch it up. Are you satisfied with the results that you had from last year? Point of reflection. Are you satisfied with what you had? If not, then hey, it's a great day for you to switch it up to try something new. And then this is the last thing, substantial. We're all living right now in this very moment, right? I'll be very clear. Right now in this moment, we're all alive, but there will be a day that we won't be anymore. And so the question is, who's better off because you passed their way? That's how we be. That's how we be, right? As Ayanna would say. That's how we move in intentionality with being a boss and with creating substantial impact wherever you go. Being intentional about making sure that people, places, and practices, protocols are better because you passed that way. What are we talking about tonight, folks? Again, drop a hello in that chat for me. A great evening. I'm so glad to have you guys here with us tonight. As we're talking about what are some things that we can do right now in this month of July, right, to get ourselves set up for success for this new school year. And if we're honest, like my baby goes back to school in 2 weeks actually, right? He goes back to school on July 23rd. For some of you, you have less time than others. I support some schools all over the United States, and quite a few still don't go back until after the 4th of September, right? After Labor Day, right? But for some of our schools, we're jumping starting. So let's talk about what can we do. So we're jumping right on into this thing, right? The first thing that I want to say to you, if you are a school leader, right? Hear me and hear me well. So over the summer, of course, I work year round. Over the course of the summer, I have been working one-on-one in buildings with a lot of school leaders, helping them to look at their data, helping them to analyze end of the year performance, looking at all pieces of data that they have. And what I know to be true is a lot of you, and I'm talking to you, a lot of you have not taken a day to reset, right? And so the first thing that I want to say to you, even now, even if your school is opening up, kids are coming back in 3 weeks, you've got to make sure that at some point you pause to reset, right? Let me tell you about statistics. And I don't have to tell you this because you know this. There was a survey done this time last year. They surveyed about 6,000 principals. 75% of those principals said right now in this moment, getting ready to kickstart the new school year, they knew that they were under so much stress that it was going to have a negative impact on their ability to make great decisions. Let me say that again. At this point last year, starting the new school year off, principals were already acknowledging, principals, school leaders were already acknowledging, I'm so stressed out that I know factually, even going into the school year, that I am setting myself up for disadvantage because I'm stressed out. I didn't take a break. And so I want to say to you right now, you got to create habits. You got to create. Summer break is also for school leaders. You've got to find the time to pause, to reset. And listen, it might not be that you're in a position to take a 2-week vacation, right, to Miami or fly off to go island hopping. It's not necessary for you to reset. But what is necessary is for you to, y'all know Erica Badu song, I Can Make You Put Your Phone Down. I don't know the rest of the lyrics to that, so I might shouldn't have said that. I should look it up afterwards. However, like, you got to put your phone down. You've got to put the emails away at some point just to give yourself 48 hours. Give yourself 48 hours to like not think about school, to not do any of those things. Because again, if not, you are setting yourself up, right, to go into the year behind the 8 ball. And let me tell you, it's really hard to catch up when you start off way behind. And we know that to be true. So I want to say to you, as I said to so many school leaders across this summer, working with them one-on-one, yes, the pressure is on. I'm not going to tell you it's not. Unless you have been a principal or a school leader in recent years, it's hard to understand that. And so I am fresh out of the seat still. So I promise you, I get that the pressure is on. And I would be lying to you if I said that it was not, right? But because the pressure is on and we know it's on, how are you setting yourself up to lead best? So strategy 1, drop that in the chat. I need to reset to lead best. Let me say that. If you want to be the best version, to lead well, you got to be well. Drop that in the chat. To lead well, you got to be well. And so I want to say that that is a strategy. It shouldn't be just a strategy. You need to know that it is necessary. You've got to create schedules and calendars to do that thing. How much sleep are you getting? So realistically, as a middle school principal, if it was a week that we had basketball, if football was ending and basketball was starting, let's say it was one of those times that they're crossing over, and let's say you had a parent engagement event. Realistically, there were times when, as a building level principal, you can show up at your building at 6:45, right, 7 o'clock, and not leave to 9 p.m. That's a reality that we don't always talk about for a week, okay? So I got to tell you, you got to know there are going to be some times where it is not possible, right? You only have 24 hours in a day. So there are going to be times where it's not actually possible for you to get as much rest as you would like. I'm a realist, okay? I'm a realist, so I'm going to be real with you. So what I want to say to you right now, when there is time for you to get it in, my friends, get it in, right? And so I want to ask you, what's your sleep protocol? So again, this overarching strategy number 1 is reset to lead best. But under that, I want you to think about, what are your sleep patterns? Are you one of those folks that like turns on the TV and you leave it on all night, and then you wake up having a continuation in your dreams about what you were watching before you went to sleep? Our brains are wired that way. I want to challenge you to look at what are your protocols and your practices around sleep, y'all. Figure that thing out so that you are allowing your brain to shut down 60 minutes before it's time for you to go to bed. Again, I cannot say it enough. You got to get some rest, right? Research is clear. Driving sleepy is pretty close to driving drunk. Okay, did you hear what I said? So think about that in your school. If driving sleepy is pretty close to driving drunk, my friends, how are you leading? How are you leading? How are you leading? So again, if we want to lead well, we have to be well. Something again that some of you are great with calendars. Like I should hire some of you guys to help me with my calendar, because you just are. You have the best like notes and highlighters and stickies and all of the things, right? You have all of the things and everything is on there, but your mental health hours. So I want you to get in the habit of, on your calendar at some point in the week, you need mental health hours. Block out you 2 solid mental health hours. Again, we're still talking about this reset and resting to lead well, right? And then other thing that I want to challenge you to do is find you a peer self-care pact member, right? So who's an accountability partner for you? I just finished, and y'all, I'm always learning. I'm always growing. And a good leader would do that. A good leader is a good learner. A good leader is always, listen, the teacher must always remain the student. The teacher, if you want to be a great teacher, an impactful teacher, an impactful leader, you must always be the student. And so I have been in classes on procurement, right? And so in that class, I've met some amazing people. And one of the people that I met, he said, hey, we got to be accountability partners. And so literally last week, we sent the email checking on each other. And I said, hey, you said you were going to do 3 hours of working out after you finish work. How's it going? He was like, oh, you caught me slipping. You caught me slipping, right? And so he sent me a message the next day saying, hey, I got it in. So who is somebody that can help you with that? To help remind you, like, are you taking good care of yourself? Again, you hear me say it every single time. It's in this book all through there. You hear me? You can't pour from an empty cup. So start with rest so you can lead with presence. Okay. So again, that's strategy number 1. Y'all drop that in the chat. We've got to reset and rest to lead best. That is strategy number 1. And hey, y'all, how are y'all doing? Look at there, my international friends. Hello, how are you today? Absolutely, folks. We've got to lead well. If we want to lead well, you got to be well. So again, that first strategy there is resetting to lead best. Here we go. Vision. We know where there is no vision, the people perish. But y'all, there are so many people, because you are starting the new year behind the 8 ball, because you are starting the new year stressed out from last year. Let me say that again. You are starting the new year stressed out from the last year. You hadn't thought a thing about vision, even though you know it. This is nothing new, right? This is nothing. You know it, but hashtag is there a gap between that knowing and doing gap, right? You know, there's a lot of research behind it. A lot of us, we know exactly what to do, but hashtag we need to get to it. And so you got to know, if you want to have an amazing school year, you got to have that reset time for you to reimagine the possibilities. You've got to have that time to give your mind, your body, your soul to realign, to reimagine bigger, and to rethink through better, and to just process through what could possibly happen for you. Let me tell you this. It's so critically important that you are able to see in your mind's eye what's possible for your school right now. If you can't visualize the success for your school right now, well, let's say, what's today? It's July the 6th. Don't expect it to be present in reality December the 6th. Let me say that again. If you can't see it and believe it, right? You got to see it and believe it before you can have it in your hands. You got to see it with your eye, your mind's eye, believe it in your heart before you can have it in your hands. And so if you can't see it yourself, if you don't believe it's possible yourself, don't be disappointed if in a couple of months you don't have movement, right? So start with the vision. You've got to start with that. That's starting with your why, your vision. What is possible for your babies? And let me remind you of this, right? It's one of my major keynotes. Zip codes don't dictate destinies. Let me say that again. Zip codes do not dictate destiny. Neither does dialect determine intellect. So I don't care where you are. The question is, what do you believe about the people that you are leading? That's just not for your students, but for your staff too. If you are a school leader, what is what that collective efficacy piece? And we'll look back to that later. But what do you really believe about the people that you are leading? Right? Because that's going to dictate the vision that you're able to see, that you're able to bring to your hand. But remember, clear vision and alignment equals stronger staff retention and student achievement. Simply stated, the research is clear with that. Not only you see what that part is, see it, speak it, shape it. So after you see it, right, in your mind's eye as a leader, you got to know it starts with you. Hands down, it starts with you. But after you see it in your mind's eye, how do people know it? Like the equivalent of having a vision in your mind, but not yelling it from the rooftop is the equivalent of me saying, we're all going to get together, right? We're all going to go to Vegas for Innovative School Summits. Y'all, Innovative School Summits is starting tomorrow in Vegas. So for those of you that are headed there, I know you'll have an amazing time. For those of you that are going to join me in Nashville, y'all, we'll be on Nashville keynoting on the main stage. We're so excited about that week after next. So, hey, those tickets are still available too if you're interested in that. But I got to tell you, it's the equivalent of me saying to y'all, okay, y'all, I want to go on a trip. And in my mind, I know that I want to go to Vegas ISS next week, but I just told you we're going somewhere. I get to Vegas and I'm looking for you, and then I'm mad, upset because you're not there. Well, I didn't tell you. I was not crystal clear on where we were going, right? So vision is that way. If you truly believe it and you're locked in on it, now you got to speak it. right? We got to see that thing, then we've got to speak it out so that we can shape it into the reality that we know that is possible. So again, that's crystal. That's so very important. And with that vision piece, I want to ask you, what are your 3 North Star goals for the year? So under this piece about vision, we're also going to talk about goals. Drop it in the chat. I need 3 North Star goals. And so, researchers say 3 to 5. But y'all, in my work right now in schools, we're overwhelmed. We are overwhelmed. And so I say 3. Right? If you get the 3 rolling, then you want to add 2 more there. But you really got to look at, of course, always that academic piece, right? Your instructional leadership piece, right? And your culture piece. You've really, really, really got to look at those 3 legs to make sure that you are setting goals. And then with your North Star, you got to look at big, measurable, think smart goals. So what are those goals for your school year? Walking in without a goal to start the school year is setting yourself up to be like a ship without a sail. You'll just be tossing to and fro like hashtag, what are we working on? Yes, we know we're here for teaching and learning, but specifically, what are we working on today? Where are we going with this? And something else that I want to challenge you to have for this school year is a vision board in your office. Right. So after you launch your vision and you lock in on it, and I want you to think through this, and I'm going to loop back to this again, but think through after you have that vision that's you're working it through in your mind, your heart, your soul as a leader. Y'all, leadership is also a team sport. Education is a team sport, but trying to lead a school on your own, you're going to kill yourself. You're going to kill yourself, right? And so it's critically important that as you begin to cultivate this vision, it needs to be a collective vision, right? So it's always going to start with you, but you got to bring your school leadership team in. You got to bring your counterparts in so that they can see and help shape it too, right? Because it is a living, breathing thing that we need everybody to help bring it to life. You can have the vision, but I'll assure you can't bring it to life on your own because education isn't structured that way, right? And can I be honest? Neither is life. We can have our personal goals, but honestly, nobody is self-made. We all need somebody to lean on, right? We all need somebody to lean on. So again, we're talking about vision, big picture, having those North Star goals. And then for you, after you lock in on it, get with your school leadership team. Y'all create a vision board for your school, right? And not only that, but even throw a party. Like that's how we always do over the summer. I would throw a popcorn party or throw something to invite the school members and school leadership team in to look at look at our vision. Does it need revisiting? Do we need to revise it? And what are our strategic goals for the year, right? What are those things? Again, if you don't own the vision now, your habits will write one for you. And I assure you that the reality that you know is possible, it will not happen, right? So y'all drop that in the chat. Vision. That's strategy too. You got to see it, speak it, and shape it. So critically important. This next piece, reflect with data to perfect. And you see, I put that in bold, with data, right? So reflection is a game changer. Reflection is such a game changer for educators that at the end of each chapter, right? This book has 12. At the end of every chapter, I have reflection questions, and I call them mirror and grace questions because y'all know as a boss educator, we got to constantly reflect, but we got to also give ourselves grace because if you're real with the man in the mirror, oftentimes you will see, oh, I missed the mark on that. Oh, I could have done this a little differently. But again, that goes back to your rest. You will not make your best decisions if you are not well. It's hard. It's really difficult to do. So all of these things play together. But again, reflecting with data to perfect. So here in the state of Mississippi, of course, we have our state assessment scores back, and everybody's been crunching. And my counterparts across the U.S., a lot of y'all get y'all's back much earlier than we do immediately, often at times. And so for all of us at this point, we have plenty of data that by now you should have crunched through. You ought to have it calculated out. And if you haven't, it's okay. But today, tomorrow is a fine day for you to hit the ground running, y'all. And if you ever need help with that is strategic planning is one of my specialties as well. So make sure you reach out. But again, reflecting with data to perfect. I'm talking about reflecting with data to perfect your practices, your protocols. What are your systems of accountability? We always will say, well, this teacher, maybe their instructional practices are whatever, they're not up to par, but what are you doing to help them? Right. And so let me tell you with data, I used to say this and it was strong, but it was real because the data is like an autopsy. It's done now. There's nothing we can do right now with the data to change it as is, but we can reflect to perfect moving forward. And so it's critically important that you dive deep, that you analyze it strategically, not by yourself, though. Let me say that again. Y'all stop trying to do everything by yourself. Yes, as a leader, I was hand crunching by myself. I did. Always, right? I'm hand crunching, but I'm also, as I'm hand crunching, I'm bringing the team in because it's critically important that you are training other school leaders to do what you are doing. It is not a badge of honor to be the only person in your building that knows how to lead well. Let me say that again, and I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause. It is not a badge of honor or a good leadership trait for you to be the only person in your building who knows how to do anything. I'm talking about instructional leadership. I'm talking about de-escalation. I'm talking about PR, marketing, all of these things, strategic planning. It's a great recipe for you to burn out. So in the process of you reflecting, right, with your data to perfect, bring people in, train them. I can assure you, I have people, and I can pull up my text right now, and I don't have to go far down, that they hated it. They were like, why, Dr. Nelson, why are you doing this? Like, I don't know how to do this, y'all. And there was a lot of, I've never had to do this before. I don't know how. And I'm like, listen, I promise you, you are going to be supercharged, super ready when you get it, right? And so some of those same people now, like they get their data, they crunch and they send me like, you see what I did, don't you? Right? You see what I did? So again, the mark of a great leader is that you are cultivating other people to take your place. Contrary to popular belief, friends, you will not be around forever. As a matter of fact, the data shows right now principals are lasting a solid 2.5 years. Superintendents, it used to be 3 to 4. It's on that. Listen, we flipping folks. So folks are flipping out, one of the two, right? Because again, we're trying to do so much of this by ourselves. So again, the mark of a great, how are you cultivating others to look at data, to dive into the data? Again, it's critically important that you do that. Again, data analysis and reflection are the perfect recipe for strategic planning. I tell people all the time when I say, well, how do you strategic plan? I start with, where are we? We cannot get to where we want to go if we don't know. If I can't identify for GPS what my starting point is, and I say I want to go to ISS Nashville. I'm excited about Nashville, right? If I'm saying I want to go to the Gaylord Nashville, the first thing GPS is going to ask me is, where are you now? What's your current location? And so in your schools, we've got to ask, what is our current location? And me trying to lie and say that I am starting out in Jackson, Mississippi, and I'm really in Biloxi, what is that doing for me getting to where I want to go? I'm just saying. Okay, so y'all drop that in the chat. That's strategy number 3. Reflect with data. And I got that piece. And I'm not just talking about your quantitative data. What's your qualitative data say too? So your parent surveys, what do they think about you? What do your community think about you? What are your students saying about y'all? There was a question. There's always a question at the end of your Title I school that, asks the students, like, do you feel like you're getting what you need out of this? Pause and read that, right? And let's say you didn't get a lot of feedback. There are still other ways. You've got to listen to what the people that you are serving, that you are leading, what is their perspective of their experience? Because so many times our intent does not match our impact. We have great intentions with the rules, right? With our new protocols and our practices, but we've got to look at what is the actual impact, right? We've got great intent, but what is the impact that is having on the people that we're leading? It's critically important that we keep that in mind this time of year as we're reflecting to have greater levels of success, right? For our schools. Because why are you in a school? You aren't there by yourself. We are in there to serve. Leadership is about service, right? And who are you serving? It matters. And their experience, it truly matters, right? So again, that's strategy 3, reflecting with data to perfect our practices, our protocols, and ultimately increase our success, right, across the board. So that is strategy 3. Here we go, strategy 4, and y'all know we're always here for a good time, not a long time, an impactful time, right? Strategy 4, culture, set the tone before day 1. As someone who is a culture strategist, I am, and I'm so grateful that that is something that I have been gifted in the area that I truly support students, staff, organizations around. So many of us just look at that culture piece like it's just going to happen. Right? We don't plan for it. It's like, I don't have time for that. I'm trying to get these math scores up, right? I don't have time for that. Did you see our literacy scores? I don't have time for that. We're slated to be a D school, or we're slated to be. But if you don't strategically plan for culture, if you don't strategically plan for the energy and the vibe that is in your four walls, what's outside of the four walls will dictate it for you. Let me say that again. If you aren't strategically planning and you got data to help you figure out where are you with your culture and your climate, if you aren't strategically planning intentionally for culture, right, the outside forces will dictate it for you. And I don't know about your world, but the world that I'm living in right now, that's not what I want my school building to feel like. It's not. And I can say in certainty that it does not matter where your school is located. You have the power as a school collective, as a school leadership team, as a school body to create and cultivate something safe, sacred, and beautiful in your school. I know this to be true, right? So you got to plan for it, though. It just doesn't naturally happen. We got to plan for that. Can I tell you, we're talking about teacher retention. Surveys show, not just in schools, but across all entities, right? People don't leave organizations typically for the money. You know, we say, oh, I'm not paid enough. Typically, regardless, across multiple SES barriers, people don't typically leave for that. They typically leave because they don't feel valued, seen, or heard. It boils down to that. And so that's all about culture. What are you doing in your building every day that people want to be there? So what are some things that you can do right now to help cultivate that? One of my favorite things to do during the summer is always to write handwritten notes to my staff. Get you whatever your logo is. Y'all go in Canva, create it. As a matter of fact, if you need help, I love helping people create stuff, right? Just Google it. Create your own postcard for your school. Handwrite something and send it. It's gold. If you have a teacher, your teachers are coming in, have them to do that for their students, right? And let's say you got 1,000 kids and one teacher has 200. Well, you got some janitors in your building, you got some school secretaries, just so that every child in the building is getting something, right? A note that family is getting something from the school saying, hey, we're excited about you coming here. We're excited about the new year. Last year is gone and we're looking forward to amazing things. How simple of that. It's a game changer, though. Something else, a culture calendar. I'm getting ready to push 1 or 2 or 3 out for you. Grab them. They'll be free. A culture calendar. Because again, if you don't plan for it, it's not going to happen. You got to plan for it. And again, drop this in the chat. Who does not have to be you? I'm going to pause because I want you. Who does not have to be you? So as a school leader, so many times, again, we'll think, oh, if I thought of it, I've got to do it. No. If you've thought of it, you need to share it with your team, help them, let them perfect it, make it better, and let somebody else do the heavy lifting, right? So who doesn't have to be you? But a culture calendar is always a game changer. We always had one. We pushed it out so people knew what to expect. And then, of course, we also did things outside of what was on the calendar. But people need to know that you are real about celebrating them. People need to know that you are real and you're genuine about recognizing who they are and what they bring to the table. That's all about the culture, right? Again, I don't care where your school is situated. You could be in the middle of a war zone. I can attest to it. You still have the power to cultivate a safe, sacred, beautiful place where students are truly thriving. Not just students, because we get that piece mixed up about the culture too. Hashtag, what are the adults doing? Are we talking crazy to each other in the staff meetings? Are we walking in the lounge and not speaking? Like culture. That's what I'm talking about, right? And so, again, you want to retain teachers, you want to attract and retain teachers, you got to make sure you're intentionally looking at that culture piece every single day. Remember, recognition, communication, belonging, empathy, kindness. That's what we're talking about. And then summer shout outs. It's okay to go online to post something. People assume that if you post something you love to post, that is, I assure you that is not true. But I can tell you social media can be an enemy for you as a school leader, or it can be an ally. Let me say that again. Social media can be your enemy or it can be an ally. And so you get to choose. If I were you, I would make it your ally, right? And so be intentional about pressing out the good stuff. If you are not pushing out the good that's happening in your school, narratives are created for you. We know this. But y'all, school happens. This is why I'm saying you got to think through these things now before the little babies walk into school. I worked middle school, so they were hormones on feet, right? You got to think through these things before the kids come. Because when they come, school is going to happen. And you do not have time to sit in your office to plan out calendars for hours and hours because school is happening. And real leaders are where the real action is at, and that's in classrooms, right? That's in the cafeteria. That's at the bus. Like, so you've got to use your time wisely right now to set yourself up for success. Here we go. The last one, and we're going a little bit long. I apologize, but I just wanted to share this good stuff with you. Again, culture, setting that culture and being intentional. Remember, culture isn't taught, it's caught. Make July contagious. All right. You got time to make it courageous. And this last one is relationship. And they go right along with this. But culture, the last piece that I was talking about was like, okay, what are you bringing in, right? Like, what are you cultivating in-house? This particular piece, I want you to think through relationship pushing out, right? So outreach. So I want to challenge you right now to lead with love and to lead with connections, right? Y'all know my shirt. And so many people ask me, like, what does that mean to lead with love? To lead with, listen, there was an old song. The world needs love, love, sweet love. Like, that's what we need right now. We really, really need that. And as a leader, as a school leader, you know, our schools are micro organisms and isn't of the community that we serve. And I don't know about you, but again, the world that I live in right now feels really chaotic. And so we've got to be really intentional in setting the tone with the relationships, with the interactions that we want to see in our buildings. And so starting right now with the outreach is critically important. We know that relational trust boosts resilience in change scenarios. And we know that we can only create transformation happens at the speed of trust. Okay. Transformation happens at the speed of trust. Trust can only happen if people have a respect and love for you, right? And so it's critically important that we are working that thing. Like we're leading with love right now, and people are seeing you as a school leader. Like, it's summertime, summertime, right? It's summertime. But as you're coming off of your reset, I want to challenge you to get in your community. It's really hard to lead people you don't know. Let me say that again. All right, drop that in the chat. It's hard. It's really difficult to lead people you don't know. And listen, y'all know Rita Pearson said it best. Kids don't learn from people they don't like. And I added, neither do adults. And so all of that plays into this relationship piece that we're talking about here, making sure that you're cultivating those community partners on the front end of the school year before you need something, right? Talking about strategies for setting your school and your school system up for success. Who are your community leaders? Have you had a conversation with them? Go to them. Don't just always invite them to the school, even though we want to do that. But sometimes you need to get out and connect. And so I want to challenge you to do things like have a coffee and connect tour. What's your local, coffee shop or your local bakery? Get with that owner. See if they're willing to let you sit there for an hour and host a little small, intimate event with your parents, with your community leaders, right? And you don't need 1,000 people to show up. You just need a few so you can have some genuine, intimate conversations with them about who you are, about the vision, and about how it's a collective body, a collective entity to move the school and the community, because you're always intricately tied, right? So goes the school, so goes the community, so goes the community, so goes the school. And so we're connected. We need each other, right? And so how are you intentionally cultivating these relationships where people see you're not afraid to come to where they are? I think there has been this divide, if you will, that in certain communities, certain low SES, parents in the community feel like the people that are in the school think they're better than the community, right? And we know that's not true, but if you are not showing yourself friendly, right? If you are not showing yourself as being willing to meet your people where they are, that perception can be perceived as reality. So we want to challenge you right now during the summer times, if you don't have kids in the building, ask your superintendent or let them know, hey, I got a community tour. Is it okay? Are you good with it? Check and get those things done. Summer surveys, sending out to parents and being ready to hear it. How can we best support you and your child this year, and actually listen to what they have to say? And then the distributed leadership pledge, coming up with the pledge so that you are really, y'all are, listen, we standing up together, school leaders and community leaders. Like, this is a pledge that we are making collectively to lead with love in our schools and out of our schools. Again, leaders who listen first lead true. All right, leaders who listen first lead true. So here we go. Last recap. Our strategies that you should be leaning into is talking about resetting to lead best. That's about you making sure that you are well. And y'all, I can't say this enough. Take care of your physical person. Take care of your professional person. Most of you have a resume that is long as, I don't know, 7 Mile Road somewhere. You do, and it's great. But what about your physical resume? What about your actual mental, physical, emotional wellness, right? Be intentional about that. So again, y'all know I said it. In order to lead well, you got to be well. This vision and your strategic goals, right? Your 3 North Star, where are you going? Knowing where you're going, big picture, small picture, that telescope, microscope, and being able to go in between the two of those things. And again, we talk about all of these things in Boss Moves, reflecting with data, qualitative and quantitative, right? To go from where good to great. Nobody is telling you to throw out everything you did in the past. I don't advise it. But I am saying, look at where you are. Peter Drucker said, organizations are perfectly designed to get the results they get. That's true. So you got to look at the results and look at, what did we do? What were the practices that led to this performance, right? And if this is not the performance we want, we've got to go back to the practices. And so that's what that reflecting with data is all about. That's what that thing is all about. And then we talked about the culture, setting the tone before day one, right? Culture is not taught, right? It's caught. Yeah, but people listen to what you do a lot more than what you say. And that's what I mean by that. Yes, we think about social emotional learning and PBIS. Yes, we teach those things. But truly, the vibe of your building is caught, because y'all know, drop it in the chat. Energy is contagious. So hashtag, what's the vibe that you want for your building this year? When people walk up to the door, they ought to feel it permeating before they touch the door. They ought to touch the door and feel like, ooh, something is different in here, because it can be. It can be, as long as you are strategically and intentionally planning for that thing. And then the last thing that we talked about tonight was relationships. Remember, transformation happens at the speed of trust. Drop that in the chat. Transformation can only happen at the speed of trust. And so how do we build trust? We build trust through relationships, through leading with love and leading with connections, and making sure that people know that we see them, we hear them. Not only just we hear them, but we respond. I will respond to what you're saying. It's critically important. You guys have been amazing as always. What's your one takeaway from tonight? And I'm so glad to see y'all. So let me share with you. I'm being vulnerable with you. My schedule is always so hectic. It's so hectic. And when I first started doing Boss Moves, at that time, my Sundays are always hectic, but it was the most kind of least intrusive day, if you will. I am guilty because I like all of my lives to be live. Like, I like all these shows to be live because I like to interact with you. If you've been around me, you know I'm I love people. And so I want to talk to you and I want you to talk back to me. But I am really going to have to consider pre-recording some of these, because so many of you reach out to me and say, hey, I really missed the live, and I hear you, right? And so I'm trying to practice that too. I practice what I preach. And so moving forward, we'll do a better job of pushing more of these out. It just might have to be that some of them will be pre-recorded, because travel a lot of times on Sunday, I'm flying to somebody. I'm headed to see somebody in a school or in a corporation. And speaking of that, if you are ready for a new level partner for the school year, again, I don't take on many partners because me and my team, we are all about quality. And I want to make sure that me and my team are wholly accessible, right, to the people that we serve, and we're able to readily respond when they need. And so due to that, I do not take on a lot of partners, school districts, schools, but we have space for a few. So if you are interested in support from us for this school year, reach out, right? Still do have a few slots open for professional development, kicking the school year off August, September. So just reach out. It's always our pleasure to be of service to you. Contact at bosseducator.com. Remember, we do keynotes, professional development workshops, on-site coaching, virtual coaching around all things school leadership, right? All things school leadership, all things culture, strategic planning, right? And even student engagement. That's my other baby that we absolutely love. That instructional leadership piece is critically important. So what's your one today? Let me go back. What's your one takeaway from tonight? And I see y'all. Y'all are so amazing, right? To lead well. I see you, Miss Anderson. I hear you, Miss Boss Anderson. I want to challenge you, y'all. Let's help hold each other up with that. Transformation can only happen at the speed of trust. Absolutely. The culture calendar. As a teacher, I want to try the handwritten notes. Listen, it's a game changer. You're going to be the favorite teacher before the school year starts. Mark my word, right? Because you're writing real things and you'll be amazed. Yeah, a lot of our kids have never had anything from the mail. Like they've never had anything in the mail sent to them. And a lot of our parents, y'all, depending on where they live, we only get bills. Send me something other than a bill, okay? Send me a nice note. Tell me you're excited about my baby coming to school. Y'all, it's been an absolute pleasure. I will share with you that I have an upcoming event that will be in Jackson, Mississippi, August the 23rd. I'll drop that for you guys. Y'all know I have 3 different legs, right? So I support schools, I support corporations, and I also do a lot of personal development through events. And so we have one of our personal development event coming up that I'm so excited about. Y'all, it's been a great evening. Y'all know what to drop in there. We are ready to make boss moves this week, and I can't say it enough. You are perfectly positioned, my friends. Let me say that. You are perfectly positioned to be the solution for this school year. Let me say the solution that a child needs. Let me say it. What you are perfectly positioned to be the solution this year for your school system. So don't bow down from that. And so run into it by making boss moves. Be bold, optimistic, spontaneous, and substantial. Y'all drop it in the chat. Go make boss moves this week. I love y'all. Remember that. And I am cheering you on. Remember, you need some help? Simply send us an email at contact.bosseducator.com. Y'all go be boss. I love y'all. See y'all soon.